They get Katie going first. Call the meeting to order. For those who care to, please rise for an opening prayer and salute the flag. You would bow your heads with me, dear Heavenly Father. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the time you spend together. Thank you for leading, guiding, and directing this city. Allow us to make the decisions that you want us to make. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. On announcements, appointments, and vote, we have a laundry list of reappointments to get to tonight. I'd like to reappoint Mr. Denny Robbins to the Capital Improvements Committee. We'd like to entertain a motion on that.
Motion. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. I'd like to reappoint Ms. Bonnie Williams to the Capital Improvements Committee. Would like to entertain a motion on that.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Also reappoint Mr. Councilmember Mr. Gary Wilson to the Capital Improvement Committee. Need a motion?
Motion. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? One abstention. Motion carries 6-0-1. I'd like to appoint Councilmember Mr. Daniel Harder to the Capital Improvements Committee as chairman. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
One abstention. Motion carries 6-0-1. Also like to reappoint Mr. Ransom Ellis to the Planning and Zoning.
Motion. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Ransom Ellis is the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Committee. Does a fantastic job. Always look forward to having him back. And does an excellent job with our planning and zoning, leading, guiding, directing that organization. So, also like to appoint Mr. Ken Sawyer to Planning and Zoning.
Motion. Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Also like to reappoint Mr. Jeff Rossler, Planning and Zoning.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Also like to reappoint Councilmember Mr. Gary Wilson to the Planning and Zoning Commission as a council liaison. Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion in 2 seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Three abstentions.
Aye. Also like to reappoint Ms. Judy Ankrum to the Public Housing Authority.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. I'd like to open it up now to citizen participation. Anyone wishing to speak to anything not on the agenda, please step forward, state your name, sign in, and give us your best 3 minutes. Without any participants, seeing none, citizen participation closed. I'd like to have a motion on the consent agenda. Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Welcome, Ms. Guy Rice. Please give us an overview of the financial report.
Well, sure. First of all, I want to tell you that I threw an extra piece of paper on each of your places, and that was a recap of 2013, the budget to the actual. So, we came out well. As you can tell, the budget to the column, we projected net revenues. The actual came out much higher for each of the funds. So, anyway. So that's just where we ended up, and then I also threw in the variance column of where we were under and over compared to budget. And that's just an FYI. And due to the audit being pretty well, the annual report being finished, I was able to throw these numbers together for you, since Marshall's had a chance to look at them. Going on to the financial report, cash balances down slightly, and it's mainly in the utility fund, but I think that was primarily due to how we changed accounting for utility revenues. So we should be able to see that jump back up. the recap, and since there are no audit adjustments like there was previously, this is where it stands as the end of May, that overall, we are $811,000 to the bad, I should say, instead of to the good. But, you know, considering that this is the end of the 5th month, 3 months of revenues, 5 months of expenses, we're always running that far behind. So overall, the utility fund and the fire sales tax fund are the only ones right now that our revenues are over expenditures. So.
Questions, comments, discussion? On financial report? Thank you. Seeing none, need a motion to approve financial report?
Motion.
Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Krischke, anything on the report from city staff, sir?
No, sir.
Mr. Derrickson?
No, sir.
I also would like to mention that it was Mr. Derrickson's birthday on June 6th. I failed to announce that earlier, and we were going to have a roast for you since we have a short meeting tonight, so everyone feel free to stay after and roast Mr. Derrickson. Also, future community events, June 13th to June 20th is Todd Academy, ages 2 to 5. That's on Fridays at 10:30 a.m. at the Republic Community Center. June 10th through July 18th, registration for Cheer Republic. The session is from September to November, that's during football season, and January to March 2015 is basketball. Please contact Republic Community Center for more information on that. June 14th, the 135th Army Band at 7 p.m. at the Arts in the Park concert at Wilson's Creek National Battlefield. June 18th through June 23rd, Arthritis Foundation exercise program, Wednesdays at 1:30. It's a free event. It's also held at the Community Center. Bless you.
Thank you.
June 26th, Senior Movie Day, 3 p.m. This is a free event at Public Community Center. June 27th, the 18th Annual Have a Blast Celebration at 6 p.m. to 10:30, and that's free, and that's at J.R. Martin Park. And July 18th, Republic Night at the Springfield Cardinals, 7:10 p.m. Ticket sales begin on Monday, May 19th. They're on sale now, and that includes the Republic Night T-shirt. Board Commissions and Committee Schedule, Board of Adjustments, July 3rd. Capital Improvements has been moved to June 18th. Please note that on your page it says June 25th. Please note that as a change of June 18th. City Council, June 23rd and July 14th. Planning and Zoning, July 16th. Without any old business, we'll move right on to new business. I'd like to have a motion for the first reading of Bill number 14-14.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending Chapter 610 Solicitors and Canvassers, Republic City Code, Article 1, Solicitors, by amending Section 610.130, General Prohibitions.
Thank you. Mr. Derrickson, give us an overview, sir.
Yes, we've had an issue raised with regard to our solicitation ordinance and the time limits that were placed on it when the ordinance was amended. In doing research on that, it does appear that without sufficient evidence to show that the ordinance is in fact producing criminal activity because of the limitations on soliciting, that we would probably need to take another look at that and come up with what the Supreme Court has talked about, some reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions on that. And so basically what I've done is I've drafted an amendment to the ordinance that does away with the limits we had and basically just says 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. And that appears to be, by looking at the case law, the cases that have decided on the 9 p.m. issue really seem to say that is the more or less gold standard. If you give to that point, then you shouldn't be subject to having your ordinance overturned in a challenge. There are, however, other cities that have varied from that 9 p.m. limit. The Frontenac City in Missouri kind of has the leading case on the issue and had a ordinance struck down for being too limiting, and they have come back and since adopted an ordinance that has a kind of a twofold structure. One, during winter months, the soliciting goes till 7 p.m., and then during the summer months and spring months to 8:30, and they even have a total prohibition on door-to-door sales, like carrying goods. And I think that may be suspect now based upon the court rulings in the 8th Circuit. So if you wanted a pretty sure bet that we wouldn't get challenged, then the ordinance amended as proposed would probably be the safest bet. If you want to go with something different than that, where you do limit the hours or days, I think you're going to run into that balancing test that the Supreme Court uses as to time, place, and manner of restricting First Amendment rights, even though it's commercial speech in a sales or solicitation type situation.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments, discussion?
Does that include Sundays then,
Yes,
Ron?
I mean,
I
the
like
same
that.
analysis would apply to hourly limits as it would to daily limits. It's all a First Amendment issue.
Just a point of clarification, council, you have the autonomy right now to make changes to that. Ron suggested 9 to 9. You may make a motion to change or amend as you see fit. However, just the ramifications of those, Ron has given you his opinion and his advice. We are allowed to make those changes if necessary. However, if we do get challenged in a court of law, just to let you know, that is a ramification of making any changes that are really restrictive. Just kind of let you know that. Mr. Finkenberg, go ahead.
This is a safety factor, and I know that we checked into this, and at this time there were no issues. I don't know if the chief's here tonight, but could we, if we leave it open all the way till 9, what does he think? What do we think might change with that? Leaving it at 8 or an earlier time, maybe not as early as we have, but compromise in between. Just because it isn't happening now doesn't mean that if we leave it open till 9, especially in the winter months, that doesn't start causing a problem.
Correct.
As Ron can probably tell you, we're based on an objective standard, and so we have to have some evidence to support whatever we're doing is either reducing a problem or solving a problem. Since we are not having the current problem, and we don't have that many solicitors in Republic that get licenses anyway, I think we would be hard-pressed to implement something too restrictive, because we can't document anything really that's tied directly to them.
But for instance, in the winter, if we have it earlier, like Frontenac has it at 7, if you get calls after that, and it's about somebody soliciting, you know that it's someone that's not playing by the rules. Doesn't that make your job easier to find that out rather than, and I don't know, what's your experience from your many years? We want to head this off as basically, or do we just want to open the floodgates?
And I'll defer to Ron. I don't think that we can do something that's preemptive if we can't identify that a problem exists.
That's
Unfortunately,
exactly right.
the nature of law enforcement
You have
is
to be
reactive.
addressing a problem that you can, when we get through and you council members get on the witness stand, you have to give evidence and testimony as to why you felt like you needed to make that restriction, and that, based upon the cases I've reviewed, has to be definitive evidence that you are in fact able to address a crime problem that is being caused by solicitors.
Can we not show that based on other cities? Does it have to be us? I mean, you have to have all the crime before you can prevent it?
Every case I've seen, I haven't seen a city that was able to prove it.
So is it because of this particular thing is a free speech? Is that what makes it different?
Exactly what it is.
Okay.
Free speech.
Because there's also obviously a lot of other laws that you put preemptively to stop crime before it happens. That
It's a free
you don't
speech
put it in
issue,
after.
and that's what makes this unique, is that up until, the original, I think I put a note in the memo that was in the file, the Supreme Court decided the Green River case in 1933, which upheld a door-to-door sales of goods prohibition, but that was before the Supreme Court issued a ruling later, several years later, in which they had reversed themselves on finding that commercial speech was also protected by the First Amendment. Once they made that ruling that commercial speech is entitled to some of the same types of First Amendment protections except for time, place, and manner, and to support the time, place, and manner, you have to show that you are in fact addressing a problem that is created by the conduct that you are prohibiting.
Mr. Harder?
Thank you for answering those questions.
Prior to the last time we addressed this and changed it to 10 to 6, what was our statute? Does anybody know?
Before we changed it, I think it was 9 o'clock, wasn't it?
We had one.
No, we did, because Mr.
It
Wilson
was
made the
later,
motion.
it was later than what we changed it to.
And I can't remember what the,
I think
what the
it was
amount
just amending what was there. We had something before.
Yeah, we had,
I think it was 8 o'clock.
it may have been 8, I'm not sure.
Either way,
I
we
can
made it
look
back
at
to
that
6.
whole-
Okay. Mr. Wilson?
I don't see how they consider this free speech. It boils down to free selling. Is what it boils down to. And I made the motion to lower it to 6 o'clock so people wouldn't be interrupted when they were eating or relaxing. And that's what I would have hoped it would have stayed at. But you know as well as I know, you can't fight the government because you're going to lose every time, one way or the other.
You are the government.
Not with the Supreme.
With the court system making rulings as they rule, it would be nice for us to keep that. However, in this particular case, that's why we came back. Mr. Bashir?
Well, under the situation, I think the time limit that Ron has suggested is probably the best way to go. And we also have, of course, a choice of no solicitation or no solicitor sign we can put on doors if people want to do that. So
We already have that in the ordinance. It's just we may not have made, citizens aware that they've got that right, yes.
That would be one thing that if we do pass this, it would be nice to make in the next water bill or however we can do it, make sure that this change is noted for them, one, so that they know solicitors are okay to come, but two, that they know that they can post a no soliciting sign.
And how?
Nice if we can, and how, give them the instructions and things, because this will be something new to them if they're not used to people coming later.
Correct.
I'd like to see it be through Saturday, not Sunday. Because a lot of people do family things on Sunday afternoon, and I just think that we've given over to them all they, you know what I'm saying. We give to what they want, and then later we decide that it's not a good idea, so I just...
In general, I would completely agree with you and normally back you on that. The only trick here is that we can't override the Supreme Court, and we don't want the city to face the money to try to go to challenge it either at this point.
Well, if a person has 6 days to do it,
I
why would they
completely
need
agree
7?
with you. I completely agree.
But when it comes to freedom of speech, though, Sunday's not exempt, unfortunately, but...
Well, I guarantee you, they better not come to my house at 9 o'clock at night.
That's where your no solicitation sign comes in.
I'll come help you post a no soliciting
There's
sign.
some people I don't mind soliciting, but there's some people,
That's
You're
true,
just
you hate
better
to
off
just
putting
put it up, Well, maybe we could amend that. The no soliciting sign can list times that you can and can't. Oh, man. This is what it's come to. Thanks a lot. If you're watching on the video.
Ms. Poole, to your point, though, the same laws that protect churches allow them to spread the word 7 days a week, also protect the people that sell 7 days a week.
well, when I moved here, we couldn't go house to house visitation. You had to, like if we were visiting for the church, we had to go every other house. You couldn't go straight down the street and knock on doors. We got stopped for that.
Interesting. You were going to say something, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, just to the point that was made about notifying the public about their options and right to put a sign up. We've already prepared something that we think we can get out. May not be in this very next water bill, but it would be in one of the upcoming ones. It depends how quickly we can get the information and get that option out. We need to give the residents all the options in the world, and we've already got something in the works that we can probably get out either in this next water bill or the one following.
You've always wanted to try a case at the Supreme Court.
Our insurance company will be the one trying.
Be good to win it though, wouldn't it?
Huh?
Be good to win it though.
Yes.
Additional questions, comments, discussion, unless you want to make an amendment, Ms. Poole, that'd be up to you.
Well, I would like to see it at least Sunday, not have it, but I don't want to muddy the water. But
You can make the motion to amend if you'd like. It's up to you.
I'll do that. Make a motion to amend it
For
6 days a week and leave Sunday out of it.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor to amend to 6 days a week, leaving out Sunday. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, just so we vote.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor of amended item, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No.
I can't believe that.
Motion fails. 2 to 5. That's one absence. Additional questions, comments, discussion?
I have one question as far as the no
Yes, ma'am.
soliciting. Does that also cover, like, let's say the Boy Scouts go around every year to deliver bags, does that cover them not being able to?
They're already exempted from that.
That's like a
I want to make sure that
non-for-profit
it's
clause
a
in there, I
non-profit,
think,
something like that
Right.
is,
Right.
is okay.
There's a religious
Boy
and
Scouts
not-for-profit
and-
clause.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
And they don't even have to get the solicitor's permit.
Additional questions, comments, discussion?
Sure.
Anything at all? This is a first read. If you have questions, comments, or anything that you would like to ask from staff, please do so, or ask at the next meeting. Certainly appreciate your time on that one. On the next item, I'd like to have a motion to have the first reading of bill number 14-15.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, adopting the job description for the position of Collection System Foreman in the wastewater division of the Public Works Department.
Thank you, Linda. Welcome, Ms. Heatherly. Welcome, Mr. Brock.
Good evening. The wastewater division is currently staffed with 7 full-time members trained for all duties of both the wastewater plant and the collection system. As the system has grown, it calls for more specialized positions to focus on training and allocation of responsibilities into smaller, more manageable portions. The creation of the collection system foreman benefits the division by improving consistency in maintenance and planning the wastewater collection system and allowing us to delegate responsibilities. This position would supervise seasonal collection system employees and develop and implement routine maintenance plans and procedures. It is proposed that the new position be filled with an internal promotion process. Coincidentally, there's an operator 1 who's obtained all the necessary licensing and exceeded the time and grade to move up as an operator 2. If approved, both internal promotions would run concurrently. From a management perspective, providing an avenue by which they can develop their supervisory and decision-making abilities improves the pool of qualified internal candidates. It's internal training. The finance director has indicated the funding for these personnel changes can be absorbed into the wastewater salaries due to unfilled positions, we are running under budget. The expected additional expense of the recommended changes is approximately $4,500, and the current projection after 11 of 26 pay periods to the end of the year is almost $27,000 under budget.
Mr. Brock, would you like to add anything, sir?
No, Angela did great. Just a short and sweet. This is falls under the heading of work smarter. I don't want to say we have a situation where everyone's responsible, so no one's responsible, but it's very close to that. We have our top management, superintendent, assistant superintendent, and then a series of operators. And as we move forward, we're going to need to begin to specialize those positions where they can take specific training and they can focus their duty and their efforts in the smaller portions. And this would be the second step for that. Some council members may recall, I believe it was in 2011, we created a maintenance technician that specializes in pumps, motors, industrial controls. There's another step in that direction. We would foresee in the future then, and noted here initially, this position won't supervise seasonal positions. We would anticipate coming back and creating jobs that are specific to the collection system. Along with personnel, we also face the issue of space for equipment, and we see collection system maintenance splitting off from our wastewater plant operators as far as equipment storage and that type of thing as well.
Thank you. Questions, comments, discussion? Mr. Bashir?
David, you'd mentioned here that the position was funded due to unfilled positions. Do you foresee that the unfilled positions would need to be filled sometime later in the year?
They have been filled. We had a advertisement right at the first year. We went through a hiring process, and I believe that individual young man started 30 days maybe.
Maybe 30 days.
He's still pretty green, but he's on staff.
But it was due to vacancies, Charlie.
Due to vacancy, we
Vacancy.
had an employee leave, and it took us 6 weeks to fill that position.
Okay.
So we had an extended amount of time without anybody in that role.
Well, I have no objection to it, but if we use money that's from unfilled positions and then we need to fill positions
Mhm.
later, it's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Additional questions, comments, discussion? Anything at all? Mr. Wilson?
Nothing getting into words. So they're gonna be making $14.67 an hour. About what's the average pay for the ones that'll be possibly applying for this, what's their hourly rate?
This is a grade 4 position, and we would anticipate moving up from a grade 3, which is
Have to look that up.
I mean, there's 10% in between grades, so you're probably roughly in the right about a little over $13 an hour range.
27,000.
And I don't know which step they would be, the particular individuals would be in, but you're looking at probably about a 10% difference.
In today's market, $14.67 really isn't a whole lot to be in charge of specific stuff like you're gonna be in charge of. Not meaning anything by that one way or the other, just observation.
Yes, sir.
And this isn't specific to this one position, but at the next council meeting, we're scheduled to do a mid-year review, and within there, we can answer some of those questions. There are a number of positions that we have, and every year we evaluate those, make sure they're properly classified and graded correctly, and if there's any that we feel are not, then we'll do some research, do some background on what other communities are paying for similar positions, and then more than likely come back with, I don't know, maybe 1 and maybe 5 different positions that may need to be reclassified just because, their job duties maybe are different or changed or whatever. But this could be one of those, and we certainly can look at that and give an opinion on whether it's fairly. We want to be fair to every employee, so if it's not in the correct range, we can evaluate it and let you know next week at the second read.
Councilmember, if you look at the other positions in our department, supervisory skills, the technical, I think we've got it right. In the future, as we add full-time positions, and this individual is supervising those full-time positions, then I think that would justify moving up to a higher grade. But just getting into this position and applying the resources we currently have.
It's a step to getting them in a supervisory role, training. They've got the skill, and sometimes you gotta lead them into that supervisory role and make sure that they can manage.
Additional questions, comments, discussion?
I just want to say he's going to have a lot on his plate for training. Going to be a lot coming down the road, Eddie.
Yes, sir. He will. From the man who spent 30-some years in it. You're exactly right.
Reading over the essential duties and responsibilities. Don't even know that. Lot to go on there.
Aren't you glad you retired?
Yes.
Thank you.
The job should be posted maybe in a couple months if you're interested.
I believe I'll stay retired.
Anything else? This is the first read. If you have questions before that time or see anything that you would like to add or amend, please contact or come back to the next meeting with the information. On to other business, resolution number 14-R-32, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Republic of Missouri accepting the bid for thermal imaging cameras. Would like to have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Welcome, Chief Compton. What's the overview, sir?
In the 2014 budget, the sales tax portion, we had in there to purchase 2 thermal imaging cameras to go on the 2 new fire engines that we purchased last year. In an effort to drive the price down, we did a kind of a poll of neighboring fire departments in Greene and Christian County, and there were several departments that were in the market, and so we did a cooperative purchase, kind of like what we did for the fire trucks to help get the price down. We're purchasing 2 cameras, the other fire departments are purchasing 1 each, so it's a total of 6. The city is not responsible for, we're not a clearinghouse. They're each responsible for placing their orders, paying the bills, so forth and so on. So it's just 2 for us, and that's it. We went out to bid and posted the bids publicly as well, and the low bidder was a company out of Wapapello, Missouri, which is, you may know as Lake Wapapello, over north of Poplar Bluff, which is Hoff Comp Fire Equipment. And their bid for the camera was $3,844, and we also want to purchase a truck mount charger so that the thing stays on the charger and charged at all times in the fire apparatus. They have a trade-in allowance of $500 if we have a couple of working or non-working thermal imaging devices, and then the total price per camera is $3,944. We have 2 non-working thermal imaging cameras that we will be trading in. So that will give us a $1,000 credit. Any questions?
Finished with the overview?
Yes.
Questions, comments, discussion, for Chief Compton? I just waited. Mr. Harder?
Was there a decrease with group pricing?
Purchase, yeah. The original price on these cameras started off right at $5,000. The Unifier company bid kind of what the list price was. So we dropped about $1,100 around in that neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you. Were your bid specs met with the Scott and the Flare?
The Scott, yeah, we kind of designed our bid specs. Actually, Flare makes the actual search engine for the Scott camera. The Flare Corporation has been in business for years making military-grade equipment, and they have branched into the fire service about 10 years ago. And they actually they don't make the cases, but they make the internal workings for several different thermal imaging cameras that are out there. The Firemaster Corporation in Springfield, they've sold the Scott brand for years, and bid spec was identical as far as search times and so forth and so on. These cameras are a lot like the computers that we use. They get dated and become outdated, and they just eventually wear out. I will tell you this, of all the equipment that we have that we use, this is probably one of the things that we use a lot. And it's just not for fire scenes that we use it. We've used it numerous times with the police department for searching for lost individuals. We had a lady here not too long ago who had purchased a new stove over at Lowe's and was convinced that it wasn't operating at the right temperature. And she had a service guy come out and didn't like the answer that he told her, so she called the fire department, and we went out and eventually determined that the other stove that was 30 years old, that the elements wouldn't turn red on, and now this one got really hot because it was new. There was nothing wrong with the stove, but we spent a good amount of time with a camera looking at the stove, looking at the wall, the cabinets around it, to prove to her that the stove wasn't going to overheat and catch the house on fire.
We appreciate your service call. Any other additional questions, comments, discussion for Chief?
Try to keep everybody happy.
Mr. Bashir?
We're trading in 2 cameras, is that correct?
Yeah, I guess I better tell you the rest of the story here.
Those were some eBay ones, right?
They had a credit of $500 per camera, and so the way the credit is worded doesn't say whether the camera has to work or not work.
Yeah.
They sell non-working cameras on eBay. So we picked up 2 cameras that are together, they're military surplus cameras, to trade in to get the credit
Okay, but the credit is $500.
per camera. So we're $823 to the good after we purchased the 2 cameras.
Like, I don't get it.
Great job.
Hold on, Mr. Bashir.
That's
go
what
ahead.
I said.
Well, I'm trying to look at the numbers here.
Okay, please. do.
$38.44 per camera.
Right,
Okay, $600 for the mount.
right,
Okay, a trade-in $500, so that makes it $39.44.
per camera, correct.
Now I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
Got it.
Minus the, or add on the
Minus the
$60
eBay cost.
each or so for the eBay.
The eBay
Kudos
costs,
to you.
after we figured out where we were headed with the brand and got reading the trade-in allowances, we just picked up 2 other cameras for parts to get the $1,000 credit.
What do we have?
Only got so much money, I gotta make it last.
What do we have currently, Chief?
What do we have currently, camera-wise?
Yes.
We have 2 Draeger cameras that are currently in each aerial truck.
Okay. Thank you. Additional questions, comments, discussion? You sure, Daniel?
You look like you want to say something.
He does. He's just holding back. Any additional questions, comments, discussion from council? Thank you, Chief. Certainly appreciate that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Anybody want Mr. Chief Compton to come back here and give us another story? Motion carries. Thank you.
We've missed you.
Seeing that, we'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions?